Just as a quick example, if you wanted to buy a $20,000 property, you'd pay about $8,000 per acre. Some solar projects are now paying between $30,000 and $50,000 per acre. But the whole gamble on the land banking is the timing. I don't know if you'll get an offer in 6 months or 6 years, but we think it'll be within a 10-year time frame because California has mandates and is just really exploding on going with green energy for the next 10 to 15 years.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm Cody Crabb with Investor Fuel, and joining me today is Jen Flynn of Velour Real Estate Services out of Southern California. She has a really unique niche. We're going to talk about that today, how investors can diversify beyond traditional rentals, and why some of the best opportunities don't involve tenants at all. So thanks so much for joining us today, Jen.
It's my pleasure, Cody. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, yeah. So I'd love to hear the origin story. Like I always say, it's not typically one that you see on the kids' wall when they're growing up. I want to get into real estate. So I'm curious, how did you originally get into real estate?
Well, that's a really good question. It was not in my plan. I was a financial planner for MetLife for a while, and then I left that position in 2006 and actually was traveling through Vietnam and decided to stay in Vietnam and work for a nonprofit. And worked with a bunch of orphans and disabled kids for 2 years. And during that time is when the stock market crashed in 2008. And I got hit pretty significantly with investments that were in my IRA. So I was on the hunt to try to find something that would help me recover my losses and then get out in front of earnings and, something that would mature and help my retirement plan. And I knew I didn't want to purchase property in California and try to do rentals, which a lot of friends were doing, because I was still living in Vietnam and didn't want to try to manage something out of the country.
Bit of a distance there, yeah.
Yeah. It would just be too complicated for me, and I like to keep my life kind of simple. But a friend of mine introduced me to land banking. And so I dug into it a little bit more and watched a presentation and thought this is a great way for me to dip my toe into real estate, which is how most of the wealthiest people in America have made their money. And I don't have to worry about tenants and toilets and all the headaches that come with it. So I bought my first 3 properties in 2009, sight unseen. I was still living in Vietnam. And then about a year later, when I came back to live in San Diego, I drove out and saw these properties and thought that the business model was just perfect. So I got my real estate license in 2010. And I've been purchasing properties for my own portfolio since then. I now have 18 properties sprinkled out in Southern California. And that's what I do for full-time living, is I sell properties to other folks like you and me, that can get 20 grand or 200,000 together and invest and, really have some California real estate without headaches.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Yeah, that alone really catches my attention because California real estate is famously, not the easiest to get into in the first place. But then saying that it's without headaches, I mean, even that, as you describe it, it's pretty much a dream scenario. So,
Right.
just as people are kind of hearing about this as an option, what does a deal like this actually look like in practice?
Sure.
This doesn't sound like your traditional, find a deal, close on the deal. Like this, it sounds a little more interesting than that.
It is pretty interesting. So I usually talk to people briefly and see if they'd be okay with an investment that doesn't currently provide cash flow. 'Cause that's what a lot of people are looking for. But this is going to be, like I said earlier, a short to mid-term investment. And by that, I mean it could turn in 1 to maybe 7 years time. So if people are open to that, I'll give them a presentation that's about 45, 50 minutes so they really understand where we invest, how we research these properties that Valor purchases, that we do a disclosure report and environmental report for the buyer. And then if somebody's still interested, they'll give me a budget. And maybe they only have $20,000. They can get 2.5 acres for that. Maybe
Really?
they've done a 1031 exchange and they've got $500,000, but they don't want to pay capital gains on that yet. So they can do a 1031 into raw land.
Hmm.
Or some people have money in a self-directed IRA or 401k. And you probably know you can hold real estate in those entities now. So it's a good option for people to diversify some of what they already have in the market and get into real estate at whatever level works for them.
Yeah, and I'm
And in
kind
the
of shocked to hear
process,
I'm shocked to hear as how low those numbers were for California real estate. Literally, we're talking
I
about
know.
California real estate.
Right. Well, I live in North Park, San Diego, and 900 square foot homes here are selling for 1.2 million. But if you invest where we're investing, which is about 3 hours northeast of Los Angeles, in Kern County in California City, it's high desert. It's flat, developable land. There are cities up there, but we don't usually get land right close to where there's residential any longer. We're buying land near solar farms, transmission lines, and substations, so it's further out, which makes it less expensive.
Mm.
And Valor's really good at researching properties of people that maybe haven't paid their property tax in a while, or they've got a lien on the property, or they had inherited something. They're like, I have no idea what this is. I just want to sell it. So Valor can pick up properties for below market value and then give it to myself to sell to a client after a markup. And the client still got built-in equity.
Hmm.
So just as a quick example, if you wanted to buy a $20,000 property, you'd pay about $8,000 per acre. Some solar projects are now paying between $30,000 and $50,000 per acre. But the whole gamble on the land banking is the timing. I don't know if you'll get an offer in 6 months or 6 years, but we think it'll be within a 10-year time frame because California has mandates and is just really exploding on going with green energy for the next 10 to 15 years.
Yeah. So out of curiosity, is there something that makes a piece of land particularly attractive to a solar developer? Is it just proximity to other things, or are there other factors as well?
Definitely other factors. So they like to be close to existing transmission lines and or a substation if they can. But some of these projects are 7,000 and 8,000 acres in size, so they will build their own substation if they need to. There's multiple billions of dollars of projects that are planned between the California City substation that's going in on the east side of Kern County, and then on the west side, there's more substations going in and more transmission lines, and the county's paying for all of that. So we as investors that have land sprinkled out around these developments, our land is just increasing in value while the county's paying for this infrastructure.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, this does sound a little bit too good to be true. It's like getting into this, and it's a way to dip your toes in without going too far into it. It's California real estate at a bargain. My question is, where's the risk, right? Like, so what would happen in a case where, well, like what does it look like when this fails? Like where you don't see the return, or you don't, it doesn't sell. I'd just be curious to know, like, what does it look like on the other side?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Sure, and that's a very common question that I get. Some of the properties that I purchased in 2009 haven't sold yet, but they happen to be zoned as industrial and residential, which take longer to develop. The properties that we're selling clients now are almost exclusively for solar projects. And the risk is that, if you're 65 and you're investing, maybe the parcel that you purchase won't develop for another 15 years and you won't see it come to fruition. But, your heirs will inherit that property and they'll definitely see it come to fruition. The strategic kind of plan for this particular area, Kern County and California City, is that pretty much everything will be filled in with solar. Before the mandates expire in 2045, we're supposed to be, as a state, 100% on green energy.
So there's gonna need to be more, and you're just
There's going to
banking on
need to
that.
be more. That's right.
Yeah, you're banking on that. Cool. Well, so okay. Uh, some investors would look at this and just be like, I'm not even looking at this. It's not like sexy, as people say. Like, it's not a very like exciting, what would you say to someone who says something like that?
Well, I say it's not sexy, but there is a trade-off. So sexy might be buying a house below market value that you can fix and flip. And that looks really cool. And then you make your 50 grand and you go on to the next house and you do the same thing. And now you have 150. You can keep, if that's the thing that excites you, land is probably not for you. Unless maybe you want to peel off 20 grand with each of your fix and flips and just tuck it away into something that's very safe, that will more than likely, there's no guarantees with anything, but more than likely outperform the stock market and more than likely be better than your fix and flip returns, because you've got expenses in fix and flips. You've got risk. What happens if we have COVID again, and the whole housing market just is
Good
stagnant?
point. Yeah.
Solar farms were still putting panels in the ground, because everybody was using power and we were using even more power. The kids
Yeah.
are at home instead of in school. They're on their iPad instead of, in a classroom. So
Yeah.
that actually worked. I hate to say that there was a positive out of it, but solar was still increasing in demand.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that right there is a really good point. It's not traditional real estate in the sense that like it goes up and down with the market the same way. So like even
Right.
that might be a little, that might reassure some people that it doesn't follow the real estate market exactly. Um,
Right.
so what is as people are hearing this, I'm sure people are wondering, like, what does a deal actually look like? You kind of walked us through the initial, like the process. But I'd be curious about like the practicality. Like how long does it usually take to from finding one of these to completely finishing it? And I mean like the process of purchasing it. How long
Sure.
does that typically take?
Well, we can, once you say, okay, this is my budget. If I will then go to Valor and say, I've got a new client that, let's say they have a budget of 50,000. They want to get a parcel as big as possible with that budget. You'd be in the neighborhood of maybe 5 acres to 10 acres. Valor will tell me what they have in inventory that's ready to go. And then I'll show you that parcel. I'll do highlights for you with a PowerPoint. I'll show you strategically what's within 3 miles already of that parcel. And you'll usually be close to transmission lines or an existing solar facility.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
And we're just waiting for those solar projects to expand. So if you like that parcel and you want to go forward, we write a 2-page contract because there's no loan, there's no pre-qualifications. You don't have to do any of that business like a traditional real estate deal. The 2-page contract goes to Velour, and we'll hold the property for you for 7 days. If you want me to drive you out to the area and tour the property, I'm happy to do that. And after the 7-day point, we request a 3% deposit for the property, and then we open escrow. And during escrow, you'll get documents to sign, obviously. You'll also get a disclosure report and an environmental report. And then we can close in 21 days.
Wow.
About 4 to 6 weeks after that, you'll get title from the county for the property. And I tell people, just stick your title in the safe, pay your property taxes once a year, and don't worry about anything until you get an offer from a legitimate solar developer. And at that point, you'll call me and say, hey, I got this letter. What do I do? And Velour actually has some specific steps to help the buyer walk through the process of a sale.
Mm-hmm.
And because we have so many clients in Southern California and so many deals are happening, we know that solar companies are now paying, like I said, $30,000 to $50,000 per acre, depending on location. And we don't negotiate on your behalf, but we'll tell you what questions to ask so you can sell for the highest amount per acre that you can get.
Mm. Wow. So, okay. People that are hearing this and salivating a little bit and thinking this sounds like an amazing option. What do you have to have and be? I mean, it sounds like it's pretty hands off. I mean, you said you were in Vietnam looking
Right.
at some of these things. So I'm just curious, like where do you have to live? What do you have to have in order to get in on something like this?
So you can pretty much live anywhere in the world. Most countries can send money to the U.S. and invest. You don't have to be a citizen to invest in land in America. So that makes it pretty easy. What you have to have is access to the cash.
That's it.
Whether it's cash in the bank or money that you have in a self-directed IRA or 1031, like I said, that's really it. We do most of our escrow process through DocuSign. There's only
Wow.
2 pages that we need wet ink signature, and you can mail those in. And for my out-of-country clients, they just use FedEx or DHL or whatever, mail the docs in. And like I said, we can close in 3 weeks.
That's pretty wild. Yeah, this definitely grabbed my attention because it is not your typical situation we hear in real estate. So thank you so much for sharing all this. We're sort of winding down here towards the end here, but so I'd be curious if someone wants to kind of dig in and learn more about this and see if this is an option for them. Where can they go online to learn more?
They can go to my LinkedIn page. I've got other videos on there. I've got a couple PowerPoints on there, and they're more than welcome to reach out to me via LinkedIn and send me a message, and I'm happy to answer their questions and get a conversation started.
Fantastic. Yeah, I encourage anyone to look at these things. It's never a bad thing to keep your options open and learn what else is out there. So definitely worth a look here. Jen, it's been a pleasure. I really appreciate it. And for our listeners, if you got something out of this episode, which I know you did, please go ahead and hit subscribe so you can get all the episodes and you get notified with future ones. So thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.